I'm sure that in Judaism is all-encompassing and brings a perspective into all parts of life, and there is definitely what to get from Judaism for every single person. A lot of times, the person that you're talking about is a person that was never given that appreciation for their own Judaism, and that's something that's one of the beautiful things about my life in my career, I guess, profession, is that I get to show people that Judaism is such a beautiful thing, and Judaism is able to speak to you no matter who you are, no matter what your background, and no matter how little education you have. There's so many different ways, and there's so many different interesting topics, and there's so much out there. Every single Jew could find something in Judaism. We just have to tap into it.
And the thing I find interesting, is from a Jewish standpoint, whether you're born to it, you come to it, is the look in the world, because there's a lot of hate and prejudice out there. But it's funny because my Judaism is a connection point to people, and very often people that are not Jewish, because people who have faith that are not Jewish and of different faiths, they feel that Judaism is the foundational point to the world, to different religions, and it's amazing the segue into conversations we have then.
Absolutely. Judaism has what to give to everybody. And although, different from other religions, in Judaism, we don't try to get people to convert. We
actually dissuade it.
We dissuade it, yes. Big time.
Well, it's pushing with one hand and then bring closer when the person shows, but it's a lot of pushing away.
So I've dealt with converts, or some people that thought they wanted to convert.
Yes.
It's got to be genuine, but that's a different subject.
We're going to make a whole different episode just on that.
Oh yeah, big time,
guaranteed, and we will.
We believe in the divine mission of every creation. Judaism, when I say we, I see Judaism teaches us about the divine mission of every creation, and we actually have an obligation as Jews to spread that message as well to our non-Jewish friends and colleagues, and that there is, again, the morals and values, the ethics. This is stuff that Judaism teaches us that we can give to the world that are universal. Don't kill, don't steal. These things that thank God for most of us, we kind of automatically are brought up that way. That's, these are inherently Jewish teachings. They come from the Ten Commandments, and we actually, that. Maybe you've heard that there's something called the 7 Noahide laws.
I've not.
This is the 10 Commandments, but it's 7 commandments for non-Jewish people.
The TikTok version.
I guess. And these 7 Noahide laws are the gateway and the blueprint for living a fulfilled as well as a moral and ethical life. And that's a message that's universal. Everybody.
But I could tell you, growing up, from my experience, I would say I was at a big disadvantage. I was born here, I was raised here, but going through with an Israeli family and then going through Jewish school, through grade school, I can tell you it was if there was no other religions existed. Like, we knew there was Jews, we live in a Jewish community.
That's the thing about Toronto. Toronto's Jewish community is very
sheltered.
Pretty sheltered.
In some ways. And when I went to a public high school and I'm seeing people of all sorts of ethnicities and cultures and colors and races and different religions, it blew my mind, because here I am 8 years, and I felt, I've been going through grade 9, grade 10. I wish we'd gone through more religious studies and talking about the other religions in the world and understanding people. So how are we going to understand them, and then for them to understand us? Right. So how do you find the relationship with other religions, between different congregations as far as people, and how do we blend together in one environment? Because we are all here together.
Yeah, I think when it comes to different religions, these are things that can stand to separate us. I think that a certain moral and ethical code that's universal, I think, is something that can connect us. As long as we spread that message and we share that message with one another, then we can connect with the entire world. It's a good question.
Like, for example, Buddhism is one that I bring up often, and very often people see it as a religion, but other people see it as spirituality, as a lifestyle. And if you take somebody who's Jewish, for example, and blend in as far as meditation, mindfulness, I think these are things that are universal as well. But you take Judaism, Buddhism, and you can make Jubu. Is that now sacrilegious, or is that really somebody who has a foundational of religion but has a choice of lifestyle that is universal?
I think that, and there are many stories to back me up. Whatever a person is, there are a lot of soul searchers out there.
Yes.
If you're a Jew and you're soul searching and you're looking everywhere else except for your own Judaism, I challenge you to look into yourself and find within Judaism what you're looking for, and you will find it. You will find it. You want meditation? You got it. You want spirituality? You got it. You want meaning? You got it. Everything you're looking for, a Jew would be looking for in Buddhism, you're gonna find in Judaism, but that's what you were born and bred with. It's in you. It'll never you say you'll never be able to run away from the tribe, no matter where you go. A Jew will always remain a Jew. And there are many. I personally know and have heard many stories of people that went the world across. As far as hanging out with gurus in the mountains in India, before they realized that what they were looking for was in themselves the entire time. So Jew-boo, I think, is unnecessary. I think any Jew that's soul searching, and I think and it's not limited to Jews. Let's say any person who's looking for meaning, you'll be able to find meaning in the moral code of life provided by the Noahide laws if you're a non-Jew. And if you're a Jew, there is more than enough meaning, and you see it all around. I'm saying, you got stories of hippies becoming observant Jews, and big business people becoming observant Jews, and people that had it all or had nothing, all coming to the same place. Because, like I said, everyone is able to find their connection point in Judaism. It's there. You just got to dig. Got to be interested. It's funny. We mentioned we was in Guatemala, and Guatemala is a very popular place amongst Israeli backpackers. I don't know if all of your audience know, but in Israel, it's kind of...
I know you're Costa Rica all the time, but not much about Guatemala.
Actually, they're all over the place.
Yes.
I even saw them once when I was in Kyrgyzstan, which is the real corner of the world. Israeli backpackers hiking the mountains. If for your audience that might not know, so in Israel, there's a draft, and everyone in Israel goes to the army, and after the army, there's like this traditional thing where like all the kids 21 years old go everywhere except for Israel. They just leave and they go basically looking for themselves. And we had in Guatemala, we were in the Chabad Center over there, which is a beautiful place, a Shabbat table with over 100 people. Most of them Israeli backpackers that were wherever they were in the world. They knew Friday night in Chabad and Antigua, Guatemala, they had a warm, yummy, tasty Jewish Shabbat meal. And you see these kids are looking for something. They're looking and they're looking and they're looking and they're looking, and a lot of times they just have a good time, but they can never find it, and until they look within. And my colleagues that live in these tourist destinations where backpackers go have story after story after story of young Israeli soul searcher coming back to their roots in India, in Thailand, in Guatemala, in Mexico.
I use that all the time, and I always say somebody's going to find themselves in India. They're going to go find themselves in India. That's where you're going to be, yes, but you can't outrun yourself.
Right.
I can tell you that when I adopted yoga, and as far as for exercise and health, but the hardest part I had was the shavasana part, lying there and being alone in my thoughts, because now I'm trapped with me. And during this episode, as we've been taping and talking about it, I'm going to oversimplify this, but I feel like when I don't feel like I have a relationship with God, really, I don't have a relationship with myself. The closer I feel that I have a relationship to God, it's really what God is, a mirror to me, and I feel more comfortable in my own skin. So,
Right.
So as far as, whether you believe that He's out there or not out there, ultimately, it always starts with inner, and with the relationship you have with yourself. And the more comfortable yourself, I think the more you can love yourself, and then you can spread more love to others. Thank you for enjoying today's episode of the Chosen Life podcast. Go ahead and hit the subscription button below and the notification bell to catch all of our great shows. And remember to contact the Chosen Lawyers when you are ready for your next real estate and commercial transaction. Go to kormans.ca.